This episode of the podcast is brought to you by Rock and Roll Denim, Pendleton Whiskey, Bill Fick Ford, the WCRA, and Resistol. Born in the iconic American western town of Pendleton, Oregon, and taking its name from one of the most revered rodeos in the world, my absolute favorite rodeo, known for the grass, the Pendleton Roundup. Pendleton whiskey is a modern celebration of a century-old tradition. Pendleton whiskey is barrel-aged in American oak and cut with glacier-fed spring water from Oregon's Mount Hood for an uncommonly smooth, rich taste and complex flavor. The Pendleton whiskey brand honors a heritage that inspires us to live boldly, never lose sight of the values we believe in, and taste the moment, wherever we may be. The legacy of the American cowboy is forged in every single bottle. A taste of true Western tradition is always worth raising a glass to. Discover more at pendletonwhiskey.com. Oh, and Pendleton Whiskey is the official whiskey of Pro Rodeo and of the PBR. Pendleton Blended Canadian Whiskey, 40% alcohol by volume, Pendleton Distilleries, Lawrenceburg, Indiana. Please drink responsibly. Bill Fick Ford, the #1 Super Duty dealer in the entire country, is still taking care of their customers. It's hard to get trucks right now, but there's some perks when you're the #1 Super Duty dealer in the country. You still got trucks. Go to BillFickFordHuntsville.com to get the no bull discounts that no one else is giving during this crazy time that we're living in. Bill Fick Ford is still the place to go. In fact, if you ask me, it's the only place to get a new Super Duty dealer today. Bill Fick Ford. The Women's Rodeo World Championship is the largest purse in the history of women's rodeo, paying out a total of $750,000. The event will take place October 26th through the 29th in Las Vegas at the South Point Arena. Each Women's Rodeo World Champion will take home a minimum of $60,000 each, while the all-around champion will collect a minimum of $20,000. The championship event dishes out equal money in all disciplines. This is your chance at a piece of that $750,000 purse. Earn your position on the leaderboard by nominating your team roping, breakaway, and barrel racing runs with the WCRA. Visit womensrodeoworldchampionship.com to learn more on how to qualify for the richest event in history of women's rodeo. Again, that's womensrodeoworldchampionship.com.
What sets Resistol apart is the legacy of the cowboys who wear the brand. These traditions are passed down from fathers to sons, from heroes to future champions. Since 1927, Resistol has been handcrafting the finest American-made cowboy hats. Generation after generation, we live it every day.
This is The Gauge with host Chance Conradu.
Are you freaking serious? It's Conrado. This is The Gauge, and I am Chance Conrado. Hi, hello, sorry, once again, I know, this is kind of becoming a regular thing where I'm apologizing for not being on the regular scheduled programming, but world's just out of control right now, and unfortunately, I keep getting pulled away from, my favorite thing to do, the podcast, just kind of the nature of things, but we're back. Everything's back to normal. We are coming in hot with Buster Frierson. He is a very interesting, pure cowboy, and he's doing things like working on the new Yellowstone show, 1883, which we can't disclose too much of what he's doing, but he's a part of the show, and we think that's amazing. And of course, he's as cowboy as they come, and he's just a really fun, interesting, just like a very likable guy, I think. And, he represents the quintessential cowboy, ranch cowboy, which is, a little different from rodeo, but I think you guys will like it. So check it out. Are you allowed to talk about what your roles are on the show yet and all that, or they have you?
Yeah, I mean, I can kind of go over it a little bit.
There's a lot of hype behind it right now.
Yeah, it's good. I think it's going to be really good.
Yeah,
I really do. I think it's going to be the next kind of
thing to kind of fill that void when Yellowstone goes away. Is that kind of the idea there?
Yeah, I think so. And I think also it's going to be kind of it'll run right along with it. It's just I think it'll be a minute before Yellowstone succeeds. I think.
I don't see how it can. It runs the whole industry, the whole culture right now. It's like the best thing to happen in quite a while.
Yeah, it's cool. It really is for the Western industry and everything that's involved or touches that. It's great for that. For sure.
It is. Yeah,
we've been attention to it.
It has much needed too. I mean, because we talk about it all the time on this show. Yeah. How stagnant kind of the Western world can get.
Right.
And something like that comes along and just blows the whole the whole culture up. Now you got celebrities wearing cowboy hats all over the place. And it's the best thing that could happen, in my opinion.
For sure. No, I agree. I mean, there's some of the stuff that's real soap opera about it, but it is still bringing attention to the Western industry and the ranching industry and the agricultural industry. So it does. It's good. It's good. No doubt about it. I'm not going to complain about it.
No, yeah, especially if you get the call to be a part of it. That's pretty cool.
For sure.
So we were talking, and I know that you're involved in the ranch rodeos and all that, but tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell the audience a little bit about yourself, just so we can get a picture of who you are.
Well, I'm Buster Frierson, and I live west of Weatherford a little bit, Texas that is, and I've been cowboying and I guess working on ranches and day working and doing that kind of stuff for the last 25 years, and ranch rodeoed for about the same amount of time, and kind of been to all of them, been there, done that, in this part of the world. And we've, I guess I kind of ranch on my own, and I've got a few cows scattered out, got a few lease places, and I ran a ranch for a family for about 16 years, and right on the outskirts of Fort Worth, between Fort Worth and Aledo. It was up for sale. It was just the progress of the mankind moving in, closer and closer, and they finally ended up putting it up for sale. And when they put it up for sale, I kind of went to looking for something else, trying to figure out what and where I was going to go and kind of how I was going to make a living, because I knew that deal was probably short-lived. So I went to kind of putting together a few cows and picked up a few leases around close and kind of got enough where I could start off on my own, and so I did. And I guess a little over a year and a half ago, I kind of went out on my own and just had enough cows that I could kind of survive. And I went back to kind of day working and trading a few horses and training some horses and just, whatever I could do to make a dollar and pay my light bill, I guess, and enjoy my life and not work for another man, and make him a dollar.
Right.
So I did, and it's probably been the best thing that I've done in a long time. I was fortunate enough while I was at the ranch, a guy came to work for me, and he was he'd just retired out of the Spec Ops Army, Ranger, Green Beret, and he worked for me for about a year and a half, I guess, and we started a small business. We made a couple T-shirts, and it's kind of blowed up. He's in Sheridan. We have a coffee shop in Sheridan, Wyoming. It's called Bison Union. And we got Bison Union coffee, and we got T-shirts and ball caps and whatever, and we could stick our brand and logo on. We got a badass loyal following of people, that support us, and it's kind of a blue-collar Americana, hardworking, I guess, would be the brand, and just kind of supports the hardworking blue-collar agricultural and the military side of it too. It kind of combined those two, and so it's turned out pretty cool, and I've got to do a lot of stuff because of that I probably wouldn't have ever done. And I guess we've been rolling for about 6.5 years now, 7 years. And if you'd have asked me 7 years ago if I'd be a part owner in a coffee company, I'd have bet you $1 million that I did not have, that I wouldn't be, And so you never know where life's going to turn and where it's going to take you and who you're going to run into and meet. And, it's kind of been a whirlwind the last 5 years. It's kind of been a whirlwind. And I look up and I'm like, how in the heck? How did I get here? What decision, what choice did I make to take that road or whatever trail it was, that led me to where I am now? But I'm sure glad I did. Whichever one it was, I was sure proud. I'm glad I did.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, that's a real interesting and really kind of short way when you got to have a long form conversation to do your story. But yeah. I find it really interesting that anybody could go, and it's kind of like, I don't know if you want to call it an American dream. Maybe you can in a way, but you just go from doing something real humble like working on ranches and all that, and you meet a couple people, you look right to them, you say the right things, you do what you say, and the next thing you know, you've kind of got a business. I think that's the whole point of this country, right? People seem to forget that a lot right now.
Yeah,
but.
I think we've, kind of, I wouldn't say dumb down our kids, but I think it's kind of go get a good job, go work for somebody, get that security, whether it be insurance as your security or, a steady paycheck, is that whatever that security that you feel like is. It's hard for people to get away from that, once you're in there. I was the same way. I'd worked for that ranch for 16 years. I'd had a paycheck every month, a place to live, a vehicle to drive. I knew exactly what my check was going to be. when it was going to be in my checking account. And
Right.
so, you know, you get that security, you get that safety feeling, and it's hard to step off the ledge and go do something you have no idea whether it's going to pan out or not, you know. And I didn't know whether I was going to survive or not, if I was going to, you know, 6 months down the road, if I was going to be looking for a full-time job from somewhere, you know, working for the man again, or still being able to do my own deal. And luckily I have. I've actually, you know, business has picked up, I guess, as you would say. I mean, I'm busy as all heck, and sometimes it's like I got to turn stuff down just because I can't, you know, you can't juggle all of it. And I'm blessed. I mean, I don't take any of it for granted, because I've been on the other side of it, where I've eaten a pot of beans for a week and, you know, corn tortillas for a week. So I've been on the other side of it too. I know what it's like to live hand to hand, you know, mouth to mouth and day to day. So I'm very blessed and very honored and very grateful to get to live the life that I do.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting, right? Because when you think about the cowboy lifestyle, especially like the quintessential cowboy lifestyle, right? You look back at what it was like, you know, not even all that long ago, but if somebody's doing day work and things like that, I mean, that's not luxury living. That's harder than shit.
Yeah. It's you know, we call it in our world, in the ranch cowboy world, we call it day trashing, you know, and that's what it is. I mean, sometimes you sleep on the ground, sometimes you sleep in a bunkhouse, you know, you work from 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning until you get done, and you know, it's a great lifestyle, but it's a lot of hours, and you know, I mean, it's whether it's snowing, raining, sun shining, it's 150 degrees outside or 30 degrees. I mean, you're still working. The cattle still got to be tended to. You got to do your job, and it's a living that a lot of people don't even know exists. You know, I mean, and there's a big crew of guys that day work. You know, I mean, there's a bunch of them out there, I guess, nowadays. Not as many as there were, just because of the mere fact that the ranches are dwindling, you know, just like the one I worked on. It's sold out, and there'll be houses on it in 2 years, you know, and so that's kind of eliminating a few of them. They got to go to town and get some jobs, but it's it's not an easy life, you know, and it don't pay nothing, you know. I mean, because the ranchers, they can't. I mean, no. They run net zero by the end of the year. Generally, that's how that goes. Yeah. I mean, they're just scratching by to get by, and you know, I mean, we do what we do. I do what I do for you know, because it's a lifestyle. It's not because I'm here to get rich. I don't whatever rich is, you know. I don't know. Right. It's different for each person, but for me, being rich is being able to go do what I want with who I want when I want, and not worry about paying my bills. You know, I mean, as long as I can pay my bills, whether it be a truck payment or a house payment or whatever it be, you know, I mean, as long as I can pay that and get by and tend to my son and me, then man, I'm happy.
Right. So. Yeah. So where'd you grow up? Did you grow up around?
No, I grew up out kind of west of Abilene, a little old small town, Roby, Texas. I grew up right there. I think the population 416. I lived on a dirt road, and my mom, dad, and I had two sisters. And my mom and dad, my mom worked for the post office. She was a mail carrier for the post office and around there. And my dad, he did kind of, I guess I took after him, just do whatever he could to make a dollar to feed for his family, you know. And he broke colts, he ranched, he cowboyed, he rodeoed, he was a welder, he worked at the jip mill, you know, he worked in the oil field when the oil field got good, whatever he could do to make a dollar. So he's one of those guys that he can do anything, and he's very good at everything that he does. And so I guess I inherited that trade. I can pretty much do whatever I need to do to make a living, you know. I mean, I've been a welder. I've had my own welding rig. I've worked for the TXU Encore, you know, as a lineman. I've cowboyed. I've built fence for a living, you know. I mean, I've done just about anything. Worked at a janitorial supply store at one time in my life, you know. I mean, loading trucks and unloading trucks, and I've kind of done a little bit of everything. But cowboying is kind of where I'm home and where I feel safe and where I feel like I need to be, and I'm blessed that I get to do that, you know.
Right. So. No, yeah, and it's interesting to talk to somebody who's from a little bit different background. And I mean, we get real hung up on rodeo here, obviously, because that's our world. That's what we do, and what we talk about most is pro rodeo stuff. And we get into other things too, and we always try to bring other guests on from different worlds, people like you, or people that have nothing to do with this at all, from politics or Hollywood type stuff. But it's interesting, right? Because let's say you're in rodeo, like I am, or like everybody who works here besides him, if you couldn't figure that out.
Yeah.
But you get hung up in that one thing, right? And you don't really see what else is going on, right? Because you can rodeo professionally, like you could be a PBR bull rider, and you could live in an apartment in Dallas. Doesn't matter.
No doubt.
If
no
you can
doubt.
do that, you can be on a ranch. You don't have to own a horse or a cows or do anything, right?
Right.
You can be a rough stock rider and do all that
You
from the
bet.
comfort of your home anywhere you want. Technically, a little different with the timed event stuff, but even so, you're so stuck and you're in this romanticization of the sport or the area you're in, and you don't even realize like that there's that type of stuff going on anymore. Because if you think of day work on a ranch, you don't think 2021, right?
Right.
You're thinking that's got to be automated or robots by now, right? Like the dairies are, but it isn't. And you still have these people who go out and they camp on next to nothing on a saddlebag and a tent. And there's people who do that all over the country.
Yeah.
Places like Utah and Wyoming and different places. And it's just crazy that that's still a thing. Right? It's almost amazing that it's still a thing. That there's still people who are willing to do it.
Oh yeah, for sure. And it's one of those deals when you do it. It's kind of, I don't know. You kind of get the bug. It's such freedom. I mean, it really is. It's such freedom and such liberty to have. I mean, I don't know. You kind of go back. You revert back into back in the old days, I guess is what you would say. I mean, you're camped out on just say the prairie in a teepee, and you got a bedroll, and you catch horses in the morning, and you punch cows all day, and come in at night, and you eat off the wagon, and lay down and go to bed and do it all over again. I mean, there's places that guys got up there on a wagon 60, 90 days every year. I mean, they live off of a chuck wagon out of their teepees and their bedroll. I mean, there's still places out there that do that. And there's still places that use 2 or 3 guys, for a couple of weeks, a month, whatever it may be, however long their works are, 2 or 3 times a year. Generally it's during the spring. Most guys are spring branding, spring calvers. So you brand calves in the spring, and then you start weaning in, late summer, early fall. You might go back and pick bulls up. You might go back and put bulls out, just depending on how the operation runs and what they do. So you might get 2 or 3 times at a ranch if they ask you back, and if you're a good enough hand. And so, you make you a little old circle is what we call it, and you get 3 or 4 ranches, and you can go work a month at a time at each one. If they can kind of get staggered out where you can make all of them, you stay pretty busy, And so, especially if you show up and you do a good job and you pay attention, and you kind of about halfway respectable, or you have to be real respectable, I guess, but
right
to the boss and everybody around, and you can stay busy, And I mean, like say it's $150 a day is what it pays now. Some ranches pay $200, but on average it's probably 125 to 150 on average, depending on where you go. So, you go stay somewhere 30 days and they feed you and feed your horses. In our world, that's pretty good living. You made $4,000 that month.
Right.
And, somebody else would look at it and go,
how do you make that work?
How do you make that work? I mean, when you got a $3,000 house payment, well, we don't have $3,000 house payments. We kind of,
right.
I mean, we live in teepees.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. It is interesting. When you were growing up, and obviously you saw your dad do some of that work, but you guys have horses and a ranch and all that stuff.
Yeah, we didn't have a ranch. We had a small we had 35, 40 acres there at the house. My dad roped, my dad rodeoed, my dad roped calves with Johnny Kirk Edmondson. I mean, he was in that era with Roy when Roy come around, I mean, I guess he rode bareback horses, rode bulls, roped calves, and so we always had horses around. We might have a few roping steers here and there, just maybe something. We had a little old hayfield across the road over there that we kept some few cattle in here and there. My granddad had a little small farm down the road. I wouldn't even call it a ranch, but he'd always keep 50 or 60 cows around. Never really had a ranch, never was on a big ranch, I mean, I didn't grow up like that. I grew up in a small town kind of farming, had a few cows, but always had horses around. My dad was a great horseman. He roped really well. He trained a lot of colts. He started a lot of rope courses, and so I was always around the horses, and mom and dad got pictures of me in the AJRA at Roby in the breakaway when I was 5 years old. I was entered in the breakaway calf roping.
Right.
And of course, then I was riding steers, anything that I could do, and I could ride when I was little bitty. So I'd always kind of had that, that advantage that my dad had started just that early, and he was handy about, how to rope and teaching somebody to rope and how to teach train a rope horse and what kind of stuff. So I guess I was blessed in that effect of it. So, but yeah, I never really grew up on a big ranch, and I get that question a lot. It's like, well, I mean, did you grow up on a big? I'm like, no, I'm not. I didn't grow up on a big ranch, and I kind of I did it till I got in junior high and started playing sports, and then, sports took over.
Yeah.
And I was, I played football, basketball, ran track, and did everything and anything that they'd asked me to do. And, I was athletic. I was a pretty good athlete, So that kind of took over my life in junior high, and then all the way through high school. Like, I think I was a sophomore. We'd moved to Roscoe, and my dad took a job over there, and we'd moved over there, and we lived in town. And we didn't have a barn, we didn't have a pasture, we didn't have anything like that. And of course, my dad had leased a little old pasture outside of town and had our horses out there. We hadn't seen them in 6 months, 8 months, and he come in one day and said, all the horses, I'm selling everything. We don't use them. Y'all don't care about it. And at that time, I just thought he was getting rid of them. We probably needed money to pay the house bill,
Sure.
I don't know, but he sold all our horses, saddles, bridles. Cleaned everything out.
Done with that lifestyle.
Yeah, it was over with, and so, or at least I thought it was, and got through high school, went to college, and kind of made the little 3-year John of college, going here to there and partying and seeing how much beer I could drink and doing that deal, and I had a buddy or two here and there that they'd ask me, they knew I could ride and I could rope. And I team rope a little bit here and there, and then I'd go with them and help them here and there. And like I say, I kind of did everything and anything. And I went to work for TU Electric, moved up here, guided some hunts right after I got out of high school and kind of quit college. I worked for an outfitter and guided some hunts and really enjoyed that. When that deal kind of flopped out, and moved to Fort Worth and went to work for TU Electric and as a lineman, and making more money than I'd ever made in my life, and a single guy in Fort Worth. And but that also comes with some bad stuff too. And a single guy, country boy that come from a little bit of nothing, in a little bitty podunk town to big city of Fort Worth. And at that time I think I was making 65 or 70,000 a year. Single guy, I was running pretty hard, 23, 24, 25 years old. And I got into quite a bit of trouble and kind of figured out I needed to do something different with my life. And so I didn't really like living in Fort Worth. And one day I walked in, turned my tools in at TU and said, I'm done. They're like, what are you going to do? I said, hell, I don't know. I'll figure it out here in a little bit, And so I moved back to Weatherford, leased a place, and started riding a few colts and started day working a little bit, got me a welding rig, started kind of building some fence and doing whatever I could do to make a living. And got a little further back, and then I kind of figured out again why I was, I guess, raised, born, I don't know. When I kind of got into it, I thought this is where I need to be. I felt comfortable. I felt safe. I felt good, And so I just immersed myself into the Cowboy deal and went to everywhere I could go to get a hold of any information and any kind of work, any kind of, knowledge that I could get from anybody that would give it to me. And hell, I'd go work for free, if you need me to come work, I'll go work for you. I just wanted to learn. And I had some guys that were really good, that teachers, and that they took me kind of under their wing, and they said, here it is, and if you want it, we'll give it to you, And so I just kind of ground it out and figured out what and who I was. And once I kind of got there, I was like, man, this is where I need to be. This is where I feel comfortable. This is my soul right here. And so for the last 25 years, that's kind of what I've done, just try to do and improve my skill and who I am as a cowboy and a horseman and, a person, everything. So,
yeah, it's interesting, right? Because a lot of people do that. They leave and then they come back. I'm one of those people. I've left the cowboy lifestyle like a dozen times, and you just always end up coming back. It's kind of hard to, if it's in you, it just, there's not a thing that can fill that void, right? Whether it's the horses, for me personally, it's the horses that do it, specifically the horses. But for some people, it's just the lifestyle, right? Because it's so much the horses for me personally is that I can go out in gym shorts and some sneakers and ride colts, and it's no problem. It has nothing to do with the boots or the spurs for me. I don't care about that. It's just the damn horses. But for some people, it's the whole thing, right? It's just you feel like yourself. You move to Fort Worth, and you're running around town and just doing whatever it is you do in the city. We all know what that is. But it's maybe it just didn't fit some people, and you were that guy.
I was that guy. Yeah, no doubt. And it took me a minute to figure that out, but once I kind of figured it out, I was like, I guess you have those epiphanies in your life where it's like, okay, it's time to figure out what you're going to do when you grow up. It's time to grow up. So
you probably had people telling you like, what the hell are you doing and all that, right?
Oh yeah. Mom, dad, friends, family, everybody, girlfriends.
Right.
It was just kind of, like, what the hell are you doing, man? And so it was one of them deals where you figure it out or you don't. And my parents raised me to be who I am, and there was a couple times there I'd lay it in a jail cell, wondering what the hell am I doing in jail? My parents raised me better than this. I shouldn't be here. And it's kind of one of them deals you got to be accountable. And one night I was laying there and kind of got pretty deep inside my soul and figured out the only reason I was in that jail cell was because of me, nobody else. And what put me there was my drinking. And I don't have a problem. A lot of people have a problem with talking about it, but I don't. I think it helps people to hear somebody else that has it. I was drinking pretty hard and pretty heavy, and I was an alcoholic. I wasn't one of those you had to drink every day to get by. I was one of those guys that when you said, "Hey, let's go to the bar," we went to the bar. We finished it.
Right.
I'm kind of got that mentality deal where if we're going to start something, if we're going to fight all the way. We're going to fight everybody. If we're going to drink it all. If we're going to go, we're going to go all the way.
And those things all go hand in hand at the bar usually.
Yeah, for sure. And so I kind of got that personality where it's like, if we start something, we're going to go all the way with it, and so I'd kind of gotten to a spot where I needed to back off, and I did. I ended up in jail a few times and kind of got into some trouble and laid there one night and knowing that I shouldn't be there. I was raised better than that. My folks raised me better than that. My family raised me better than that. I knew better than that, and so it was kind of one of them deals where you dig real deep and get honest with yourself. And when I came out of there, I told myself that one night, I said, I won't ever drink again because drinking's what put me in here, and I won't ever touch it again because I'm smarter than that and I'm better than that. And I hadn't, and that was a little over 19 years ago. And so I've been sober for a little over 19 years, and I'm kind of telling it off on my age right there, I guess, a little bit. But
yeah, see, so 24, 31, 19.
Yeah, old guy. But, it was probably the best decision I ever made in my life, no doubt about it. And it probably changed my life. It's one of those drastic moments where you either go down this path or you go down the other one. And if I'd have went down the other one, I'd have killed somebody, or I'd have killed myself. It'd have been a bad deal. And so I was glad I realized what I was doing and took the other path. And like I say, it's the best decision I ever made. And it was the hardest thing I'd ever done too. So it was, if you're out there and you're listening to this podcast and man, you're struggling, don't worry, everybody does it. That's a hard road to hoe, and it's just keep hoeing because you'll finally eventually get all the weeds knocked out.
Yeah, well, and if you're having trouble with hoeing in specific, you can stop that too.
Yeah,
literally.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, so that is because we all know people who fall into like something like alcoholism or one of the likes. There's a dozen different things, pick your poison, but alcoholism is usually a crutch for something else going on.
Right.
But hell, we all know some people who never get out of it, and it destroys their lives. And be a cowboy, could just be any Tom, Dick, or Harry doing anything. But if something's missing in your life, you usually try to fill it with something to distract you.
No doubt.
Maybe that's exactly what it was, but
no doubt. I didn't like where I was at in my life, and didn't like what I was doing, didn't like where I was at, and so that's how I numbed it out, and where I didn't have to think about it.
Right.
And then it just becomes a habit where it's like that's what you do, and so you don't see it at the time until you step back or something drastic happens. You don't realize that you gradually falling a little deeper and deeper every day, or every weekend, or every night, whatever it is, and so until you do, something slaps you in the face and tells you, hey, wake up, you're fixing to destroy your life or somebody else's, like, wake up and get out of this, and so it's one of those deals where it's a hard go, it's one of those, it's difficult. And so I guess it's kind of the same way as anything else. Once I decided I was done with it, I'm done with it. Everybody's like, even today, I've been sober for 19 years. People say, hey, you want a beer? You be all right. You can drink a beer. I'm like, no, man, I'm good. I don't like it.
You got no need for it, huh?
Yeah, I don't need it, man. I don't. I have a good time, and I can do what I need to do when I need to do it. And I don't have nothing against, we can sit right here and you can drink beer all night. It wouldn't bother me a bit. I can go to the bar and hang out with everybody, and I don't drink. I'll drive everybody home.
Right.
And so it's like, oh, you can't be a real cowboy unless you drink, smoke. I'm like, well, okay, maybe I ain't a real cowboy then. So yeah, but
so there's a tons of different groups of people will tell you you're not a real cowboy for so many different reasons. I get told I'm not a real cowboy all the time, so I get it. If the worst thing that you do to not be a cowboy is drinking and smoking, I'll trade you places.
Yeah, right on. For sure.
Guys, Rock and Roll Denim has absolutely changed the game when it comes to the performance and style in Western jeans. Top competitors like Shad, Tim O'Connell, Shelly Morgan, you name it. Your boy right here, we're all wearing Rock and Roll Denim. Inside and outside of the arena, it gives you the flexibility you need to win, as well as looking absolutely great in your interviews, appearances, whatever it is you're doing. Even when you're just doing podcasts like me. I had a chance to go to Rock and Roll Denim's factory the other day and pick out all the pants I wanted. Here's the thing. I got to try on a bunch of their new jeans. I love the men's revolver jeans with the reflex stretch technology because they're comfy. They're not stiff like some of the other jeans. Go check them out at rockandrolldenim.com or follow Rock and Roll Denim on Facebook and Instagram for the newest trends in Western fashion. rockandrolldenim.com. Guys, let me remind you how much we love Pendleton whiskey and how much you'll love it too. Here's the thing with Pendleton. It's not on every single shelf in the entire country. Sometimes you go to those small towns where the small rodeos are and you can't find Pendleton. That's where drizzly.com comes into play. Satisfy your inner cowboy by purchasing your bottle of Pendleton whiskey online. Buy it online at drizzly.com, put it in the trailer. Pendleton blended Canadian whiskey, 40% alcohol by volume, Pendleton Distilleries, Lawrenceburg, Indiana, and please drink responsibly. It is kind of funny, though. So you're talking about this old cowboy lifestyle. You decided you wanted to lead in day working and working on the ranch and working cows and breaking colts and doing all this. And then I'm just real curious how a guy goes doing all that, all the old ways, to picking up a cell phone and be like, you know what, I think I'm going to start posting pictures of myself on Instagram and see how that goes. That's a really interesting turn.
It was a very interesting turn. And we go back over there to my Bison Union partner, Bert Kuntz. He went to work for me, and he had a pretty big following on Instagram, social media, Facebook, and at the time I had Facebook, and I didn't even know what Instagram was.
Right.
That was 6.5 years ago, maybe 6 years ago, maybe 5.5. I don't know, but anyways, it wasn't that long ago, and he just kept on telling me, you need to get Instagram. You need to get Instagram. I'm like, I don't need that shit. I don't need Instagram. I don't need it. I got Facebook because I can keep up with my friends and family and, you know, what they post and yada, yada, yada. I'm like, I don't need Instagram. Oh, you'd like it better. I was like, man, I don't need Instagram. I don't need that. I don't need that. And I didn't, you know. I mean, I didn't need it. And I wasn't. And so he one afternoon we got done with work and we're standing around. And he said, hey, I want to start a business. And we got to talking about the business that he wanted to start and about the logo and about what he wanted to do and how he wanted to go about it. And he wanted me to be a part of it. And I was like, cool, that'd be awesome, you know. I said, I'll help you do. I don't know nothing about any of that, but I'll help you do whatever I can help you do. So we got it started, and it kind of kicked off and was like, hey, we might have something here, you know. And so he was like, you need to get Instagram. Put it on your phone and just use it because everybody, they don't even know you guys like you exist, you know. Like, put it out there. Like, I think it'll draw a bunch, you know, it'll draw some stuff to the company as well. It'll involve a whole different side of the demographic, you know.
Right.
I mean, like, he's all military, and so now if he's like, let's pull all the agricultural ranchers, cowboys into the deal too. And I'm like, all right, whatever. So we're and I mean, I remember it like it was yesterday. We're driving down the road, and I'm driving at the ranch, and we're headed down to fix some fence. And he said, "Did you get Instagram yet?" And I'm like, "No, I did not get Instagram yet, man." Gosh, dang. And he's like, I'm telling you, you got to get Instagram. So I just pulled my phone out of my pocket and handed it to him. And I said, put it on there. And he said, okay. And he just run it up there, you know, and put it up there and was like, here, now this is how you do it. And he showed me kind of how to do it. And was like, this is what you do. This is how you do it. And it's been a learning curve for me, you know, to figure out how to use it and how to benefit both myself and the company and, you know, everybody around us. And, but it's been a tool that, it also changed my life too, you know. I mean, it's opened up avenues that I never even dreamed would be possible for me as a cowboy, you know, a day working cowboy, ranch cowboy. And it's you know, I mean, it leads all the way into today, you know.
Right.
I mean, what I'm doing today. So it's like that's 5 years ago, 5.5 years ago, that I didn't have an Instagram, and everybody's like, yeah, how do you go from just being a ranch cowboy to all of a sudden you got 35,000 followers on Instagram? And it's like, I don't know, to be honest with you. I guess I was just blessed with, having that availability, or, something that people want to look at. I don't know. I mean, something people want to see that, and I think today, a lot of people are lacking that realness in their life. Everything's quick on, like now, convenience store kind of type stuff. It's, everybody's something that they're not really. And it's, I think it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of refreshing to see, like, hey, there's guys that are still out there grinding, that bleed and get dirt on them and, get bucked off, and you have hard, bad, shitty days, and you're working in the weather, and I think people see that and they're like, ooh, I didn't even know that even existed. Like you say, I didn't know guys did that.
Yeah. Well, and I think there's just a piece of human beings that crave that, right?
Right.
Like, we can concrete up the whole planet and put all these buildings and all these modern conveniences to make life so seamless. You don't even have to go to a grocery store anymore. Just order the food on your phone and they drop it off.
Yeah.
That's all good. That's great. Actually, sometimes it's real nice. But,
you bet.
But like the human brain hasn't caught up to all that. Like all this industry and all this innovation, I don't think the human brain's caught up to that. So what it does, I think it just makes people more sad and depressed, like they're just missing what they really are.
I mean, totally. You got to go back with our history, how we were derived and how we developed and what we did to get there, we were nomad hunter-gatherers, and now we're stuck. It's kind of like the buffalo, The buffalo went from Canada all the way down to South Texas and turned around and went back. I mean, they were nomad creatures that moved to where the grazing was.
And we followed them.
And we followed them. You think about that. That's, we as a people, that's how we fed ourselves and clothed ourselves and, made our equipment and housing and all that stuff. So, you shut that down. It's kind of like free grazing cattle. Back in the early 1800s, you just grazed your cattle wherever you were tough enough to graze them and keep them. If you wanted to graze this area between this mountain and this mountain, as long as you were tough enough and you could keep it, then you got to keep it.
Yep.
And then they went to fencing cows into a certain pasture or a certain section or a certain, area. And those cattle quit moving. Well, those cattle, you have to derive a different type of cattle because they're not going to do as well as opposed to this cattle over here. I mean, once you fence something in, it's a totally different deal. The pastures, you have to start adjusting how you rotate pastures or how you graze them or what you put in those pastures, because those cattle and those buffalo and everything that migrated and ate all that down, well, they'd eat it all down and then they'd turn around and hit it coming back. And, it was always like you were mowing your grass. Have you ever noticed that? When you mow your grass, it seems like it comes back better and faster than it did last time. It's the same way with grazing cattle. You go in and mow it down and then get off of it and let it come back. It kind of cleans it up and it comes back faster. And
they're fertilizing it on the way down too.
And so now you just have an area that's grazed out because you can't. That's the only area you got.
It's the same with farming. Like if you get to any science on farming, it's the same thing. They go plot by plot, season after season. By the time there's not enough time that goes by, and then they just deplete the soil.
Exactly.
I was talking to somebody who's supposed to come on the show to talk about that. They have a regenerative farm up in Wisconsin, and they make supplements, like really good supplements for people and horses and like dogs and stuff. And their big thing is like all the produce and stuff you buy, because the soil's been so burnt down, there's no nutrients in anything you're eating at all.
Well, it all tastes, it doesn't taste good either.
It doesn't.
I mean, like you go get tomatoes from the grocery store, and it's like, why even eat that? There's no taste to it.
Tastes like water, you're right.
That's right. And then you go to your neighbors that grew them in their garden, you're like, oh, wow, that's what a tomato tastes like. I almost forgot what a tomato tastes like. It goes with everything.
Yeah.
Peaches, oranges.
You're right. Even beef. Like you eat just regular cheap feedlot. Like you go to a Kroger or whatever, and you just get one of those plain old steaks in the white packaging.
Yeah.
Or if you go get like a grass-fed, grass-finished.
Oh, totally different.
Totally different thing.
Totally different. Yeah, no doubt. It's the cowboy deal is kind of the same way. It's like you gotta kind of keep evolving, but you want to keep those old traits and histories and that kind of stuff along with it. So there's a fine line there, you know. And like you said earlier, there's something about robots and, you know, automatic stuff. A robot won't ever replace a cowboy.
No.
It just won't happen. You know, I mean, you get skilled where you can trot by and you can see where the cow's got foot rot or she's getting pneumonia or she got pink eye. Robot won't ever be able to do that, you know. They can't get to where we go. They can't, you know, I mean, it's like they've been saying for how many years that the cowboy's a dying breed, that there's going to be.
It's less dying than it's ever been.
Yeah, it's
a
coming
renaissance
back.
right
it's
now.
coming back. Like everybody wants to wear boots and a cowboy hat, thanks to, you know, Yellowstone and the movies that have come out and, you know, the shows that have come out about cowboys or the Western lifestyle. Or, you know, I mean, again, people want to see that. People want to see. They're like, oh wow, that's really real, you know. And I get to go places that other people won't ever get to go. You know, I can take a picture off my horse on top of Big Star Mountain in Balmaray, Texas. You know, maybe 100 people have ever been up there,
right?
And probably maybe 100 ever will again. You know, I mean, it's just kind of one of them deals. It's remote. Nobody. I mean, it's privately owned. Nobody can get to it. And so, I mean, I get to go to places like that nobody even knows exist because they can't get to them. And so I think that's what people crave too as well, you know. I mean, everybody loves horses and everybody loves beautiful scenery and everybody loves cows, and, you know, and so you take that and put it all together and throw it up where somebody can see it, and it's like, wow, that's cool. Listen, I want to see what he posts next week, you know, or I want to see where he goes next month, or, you know. And so I kind of got that draw, I guess, and I don't know, it's worked so far.
Yeah. I mean, it does. People crave that. I mean, we talk to so many different people all the time, just scheduling shows and doing that, who are from places like LA or things like that. And they're so excited about it that then they start getting involved in it, and it's just blowing up. And I've been in this world my whole life. I was born in it. You know, O'Reilly, who you've been talking to, who is our director there, our marketing director and scheduler, she's been in it her whole life too. And I think you could talk to 10 different people who grew up in it, and it doesn't feel like a better time to be a part of it than right now.
Oh no, definitely.
There's just so much going on. Yeah, from the top down, it's just unbelievable.
Yeah, for sure. You know, I mean, it's an awesome time to be alive. I know that.
Yeah.
For sure.
It's funny, your business partner, Bert, I saw, what was that, maybe last year or something, he went over to Steiner's and he bucked a horse or something.
Yeah.
I think Sid or somebody showed me a video of your buddy there bucking a horse in a in a rope saddle or something.
Yeah, Bert wanted to ride a bucking horse, and so, you know, I said, yeah, we'll set it up. And so, of course, Sid and Rocker and those guys, and Mason Clements, and I mean, I'm friends with all those guys, and so we set it up, and Bert came down. We had a little film crew, and we went out there and kind of put him on the buck.
He rode him too.
Yeah. He didn't ride him all the way. Yeah. I mean, he was bucked off right about 6.5 seconds.
Yeah,
so we're not
the video was only 6.5 seconds. That's all I saw.
We're not giving him
strategic edit.
We're not giving him any credit about getting one rode. He didn't make it to the buzzer. I will give him that credit. I told him. I said, you can get on another one. He's like, yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, one and done. I just wanted the video.
He did. Yeah, he did tear he strained his groin pretty bad. You know, I mean, it's something else. He had never been on a bucking horse his entire life. Never. You know, it ain't like he was raised around horses. I mean,
no. I
taught him how to ride working for me, you know, what little bit he does know how to ride. And so it's like, for him to say, man, I want to get on a bucking horse, I want to see what that feels like, that's pretty cool on his part, you know. I mean, because a lot of people are like, oh, heck, no, you know. I mean, he was down with it, so I'm like, yeah, we can get it done. We put him on a bucking machine, you know, and kind of let him feel what it was going to be like, and which is never is the same at all. It's a totally different deal, but, you know, kind of give him a little bit of semblance about what it might be like. And got him. I told Sid, I was like, man, just give me a little hopper, but just something that I said, and then the one behind that one, if he gets the first one rode, because this might sound really mean, but you need to be bucked off. If you want to walk around and wear a hat and supposedly be a cowboy, then you need to know what it feels like to be bucked off.
Oh, it was my favorite thing to do to buddies that come to our place. I throw them on the meanest bitch we had in the whole place.
Exactly.
Oh, she's fine.
Yeah,
go ahead.
She's good, man. She's good. And that's kind of a little bit of that twisted humor that we get, you know, because it's like, man, telling how many times I've been bucked off. And I like watching everybody else get bucked off because I know.
It is fun to watch.
Yeah.
As long as they don't get hurt.
Yeah, as long as they
somebody
don't get
getting
hurt.
drilled into the dirt's real entertaining.
Yeah, exactly. And so he made it 6.5, 7 seconds on that little hopper. They had another one in there and kind of backfired on me, and they said I was picking up for them, you know. was like, hey, we got another one in here. You get on this other one. He was like, and this he was a little better quality horse. And I told Sid, I said, if he gets the first one rode, we're going to buck him off on the second one, like make him feel it. And Sid was like, all right. And I said, don't get nothing that's going to kill him, but I mean something that.
Oh, they got some nice horses over there.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Something that kick pretty hard over his head 2 or 3 times, then kind of go repeatering out and kick at his belly, and then it would be good. And so. Bird, I'm like, hey, get on this other one, get on this other one. He's like, no, I think I pulled my groin. And he's like, he's limping around there pretty bad. And he's like, no, I'm good. Like, I'm seriously, there ain't no way I can get on another one. I'm like, all right, cool. And so, of course, all them other guys that are around there, they're like, you used to ride them, didn't you? I'm like, what? And they're like, you used to ride a few ranch broncs, didn't you? I was like, yeah, I've been on a few. And they're like, put your saddle on this one. I'm like, well, I ain't even got my, I'm riding a ranch bronc saddle, but no, I was picking up in just a using saddle, and said, I ain't got a saddle. And they kept ribbing me. And you got Mason Clements, you got Sid Steiner, you got Rocker.
I think Tim O'Connell was there too.
Tim O'Connell, you got
world
Casey.
champion.
Yeah, you got Casey. You got all them guys, and they're all, come on, put your saddle on. I'm like, all right. So I stripped my saddle off my pickup horse and saddled him. Stepped down on him, and that son gun like car kills me. He posts me on the gate and jerks about 6 inches of rain out of my hand, and then does fire them first 3 jumps and just about bucks me off. And busted my ring finger where I had a hold of bronc rein. When he slapped the gate post, it busted my ring finger and knocked a big chunk out of my knee and jerked a bunch of rain out of my hand. And he about bucked me off about that 3rd jump, and I kind of reached down and double grabbed him and pulled myself back up and got set back down. And I hadn't been on a bucking horse in 2 years, and come back around there and got off on the pickup, man. And those guys they thought that was pretty cool. So, it's like. And then I got on one the other day at Weatherford at the ranch rodeo. My bronc rider had called me the night before and said he couldn't come, so I scrounged up another guy to go, but he wasn't a bronc rider. And they're like, who are we going to get to ride the bronc? I was like, hell, I'll ride the bronc. Ain't no big deal. And yeah, I got on the bronc, and I got him rode, but I tore my bicep tendon off the bone of my right arm.
Oh, jeez.
He posted me as well on the gate and twisted my knee pretty bad. I think I tore my MCL in half, so I've been limping around.
All that last week?
No, that was about a month and a half ago, so I've been limping and crippling around for that. And this job I've got now, I couldn't go get any of it fixed because I'd lose my job, or I couldn't do what I was doing, so I just been bandaging it up, making it through, and it's
that's a tough go with no booze in your life there, Buster.
It's been pretty good. I've eaten a lot of Advil in the last month and a half. I
imagine you have.
Yeah, but the last couple of weeks it's gotten a lot better, so it's a little more tolerable. You put in 18, 19-hour days with a bicep tendon tore off the bone and a knee tore all up, it's about 6 or 8 hours into it, you're feeling it. And about 10 hours, it's like, man, I just want to go home, lay down. I'm
telling you. Well, yeah, especially if you're working on any kind of TV show, they burn you to the ground on those programs.
It's crazy. Yeah, the hours are crazy. They pay you, and it's good. And it's like I told this guy, he was saying, man, working our ass off, like, man, we ain't had. I'm like, dude, I've done a lot worse for a lot less, like smiling, grinning, bear it, and go on, I mean, it's going to end sooner or later. It ain't like we're going to do this year round. So get it while you can get it and smile about it and be happy. And so it's been a blessing. It's been something that, I don't know, it's kind of crazy where your life turns and leads and goes, and so this deal, even like we were talking a little bit earlier, it's kind of like how I got here to this deal, it's like, I don't know, but I'm going to ride this mule till she lays down and quits. I mean, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So how did they approach you? I mean, how did you get?
Well, so I'd met a guy that is on Yellowstone and has been on it since it started, and he was a stunt man. He was a wrangler for them, and then he kind of got moved over into the cast, and then he got moved into the bunkhouse, and he kind of got a few parts here and there. And anyway, so me and him had met, and he come and we visited 2 or 3 different times, and he come and stayed with me for a couple of weeks, and I had a pretty good little 3-week circle to make, and he was done with the show and didn't have nothing to do, and I was like, hell, come to the house, and I got a lot of work the next 3 weeks. You can just go with me. And so we cowboyed around. We trashed around there for about 3 weeks and had a pretty good time, and a good guy, and he's a good friend of mine now. And anyways, then kind of at the end of the spring, he called me and he was like, hey, I got a gig down here with some horses. And he said it's down south of Austin. Said, would you want to come help me? And he's like, just wrangler and maybe safety, some riding and stuff like that on the show. I said, yeah, I'll go, and he told me what it'd pay and we'd be down there, how long we'd be down there. And I'm like, yeah, heck, I'll go. I didn't have anything going at that time. So we went down there and we worked on the Fear of the Walking Dead, and which is crazy to me, I'm like, Fear of the Walking Dead, isn't that like that zombie show? And he's like, yeah. But they were implementing a lot of horseback because there was a bomb went off, an apocalypse, and so
no cars,
no fuel, no fossil fuels and that kind of stuff. So they were implementing a lot more horseback riding. And so we went down there and furnished some horses and safetied for them and wranglered for them, and did that for about a month and a half, I guess, 6 weeks, 7 weeks, and come back and we went back to work just doing my regular deal. And then Ethan again called me. Ethan Lee's who it is, and like I say, he's on Yellowstone in the bunkhouse. And he called me and he said, hey, would you be interested in working another show? And I said, yeah, I think so. Where's it at? And he told me he's right down beside your house. I'm like, really? And so he told me about it, and of course it was 1883, Yellowstone, 1883, and I like the old Western history stuff, and so I thought, yeah, that'd be cool. So I signed on for a wrangler job, more or less, and just helping do whatever, safety, wrangle, horses, whatever. And got there not knowing that they were going to have a herd of cows. And once I got there, and the cattle boss, the guy that was in charge of the cattle, he kind of knew of me as well. When I walked in that morning, he kind of looked at me funny, and I'm like, what the hell? And he's like, are you Buster Frierson? I'm like, yes, sir. And he was like, you're going with me. Mm-hmm. I'm like, where? And he was like, you're on the cattle crew. I'm like, cool. So we got our cows, and we went to training on them, and so it's a cow drive from South Texas to Montana, how the Duttons got to Montana, for the modern day Yellowstone, I guess. And we've been training on the cows and kind of ended up being the guy that runs the cow crew, and he turned it more or less over to me. I mean, just kind of like he's still the man I answer to by any means, but he tells me what he wants done with the cattle when he wants done, and I've got a crew of guys that I use, and we get them done, and so it's that's kind of how I ended up there. And then it's kind of one of those deals just by fate that, they were trying to drive some cows with just the actors and couldn't get it done. And
right.
Taylor being Taylor said, come here, and gave me come here, go get in wardrobe and prop up, and you get right here, and I want you to drive them cows right up here. And I'm like, yes, sir. So they kind of rolled me over into the Cowboy crew cast, I guess, on the show, and which I think is pretty cool.
That is cool.
I got the first day, and I don't think, surely I ain't going to spoil anything, but the first day that he did that to me, Sam Elliott is right directly to my left, 10 foot away, who's one of my heroes, he watched all the Westerns growing up. Sam Elliott's the guy, and I look over and I'm thinking in my head, like, how in the hell is this even possible? I'm like, how in the hell am I even here? Like, that's Sam Elliott, it's so cool. It's so humbling, I guess, to look over and go, man, I don't know how I ended up here, but by God, I'm sure glad I am. This is cool, and so, like you say, I'm going to whip that donkey and ride that mule all the way till she lays down and quits. So we'll see where it goes. I think it'll open some doors, I don't know. It might not, but I think sooner or later something will come from it as well. I guess we'll film until, I think the schedule looks to be about December 20th, somewhere around in there, give or take a week or two. I don't know, but it's a grind. And to be honest with you, I never knew it was that kind of a grind. When I kind of went down there on the Fear of the Walking Dead, we ground pretty hard, 4:35 in the morning till 10:30, 11 at night. Sometimes by the time we get back to the barn and, put horses up and feed and get everything tended to. And this deal too is the same way. It's a big production. Got a lot of horses, a lot of moving parts. We got cows to tend to. Not only saddle horses, you got wagon horses. It's a big undertaking for anybody. And so there's a hell of a crew of wranglers and cowboys that work on the crew, and everybody involved in the deal. It's pretty impressive. It really is. It's for me to see it from where I come from. I didn't know anything about it. And to see the big parts moving and shaking, and those guys can do stuff that's unbelievable, and it's very impressive. So for me to get to be a part of it and see it is very, very honorable. I'm honored to get to do it.
Yeah, that's cool. That's awesome. What What a kind of interesting way to get involved in it all. But I mean, you got the look. You know what to do. I think it's unbelievable. So congratulations.
Well, I appreciate it. Appreciate it. It's we'll see where it goes and kind of.
Yeah.
Like I say, it might not go anywhere, but it might go somewhere else. Maybe so.
Yeah, well, we'll see. Well, Buster, we're glad you made it down to the studio, and usually it's me who's late, so you made me look good today.
Yeah, they told me you got it, and it was we're in Fort Worth, and of course I'm right there west of Weatherford, and I'm thinking, 20, 30-minute drive over there, and then I looked at the address, and I'm like, oh, damn, that's in Haltom City. That ain't in Fort Worth.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm going to be late. And, of course, I hit all that 5 o'clock traffic.
You do.
You know, it's like I slammed it everywhere. So I apologize for that.
Oh, no, not at all. Yeah, it's great. It makes me feel good about myself. But you get stuck in that little area by downtown because, I mean, we're only like 2 miles from Stockyards, but you got to get on 121. That's the problem.
And my map app took me like all the way to down 35 around to I don't even know where it was. 820. I got off on 820 and came in this way. Yeah,
that didn't make any sense at all.
Yeah, it didn't make no sense to me. When I got over here, I'm like, what in the hell? Why didn't it just send me down 121? Like it sent me down 820.
Yeah, you're halfway to Decatur by then.
Yeah, I was like, well, I don't know. You know, of course, you get so used to following that thing. It's like that's one thing too. That's one of my pet peeves. I get so used to following it. You look up and you're like, I don't even know where the hell I'm at, you know. I mean,
it's hard around the city, especially
hope this thing's right. Yeah,
I mean, this city's difficult because you got the highways going all these different directions, and you almost got to have. You ain't following no North Star around here, Cowboy.
That ain't no joke. That ain't no joke. I don't know how we made it anywhere back in the day with a road map. Huh?
What about before that?
Yeah.
You follow a wagon trail.
No, you'd get off, and I remember getting off, pulling off the highway and going to a convenience store and getting on a payphone and going, hey, I'm here. How do you get to your place from here? It's like, and then you wrote it down and you read the instructions as you were driving down the road. Yeah, but
I will say no thank you to that. I'm happy for the Google Maps, at least for that. Yeah. That'd be really difficult. They don't even have payphones anymore.
No doubt.
Apparently there's companies that go around, they pick up the payphones, and they sell the change out of the payphones, or they used to. It was like 5-10 years ago. It was like people who became overnight millionaires from buying payphones from all the money in them. Huh. They just left them when
I'd have never thought about that, yeah.
I know, I wish I was that guy.
Yeah, no joke, huh? I'll be dang.
Well, we'll let you go get on the payphone. Get your. You need a pen and paper to get home.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna be good.
You gonna be okay?
I'm gonna be good.
All right, Ty can take you.
Yeah, we get Ty. I'll follow you, Ty. You take me to Weatherford.
Be careful though. He scares easy. He trips over things.
Yeah, I saw that.
All right, well, we'll let you get on, Buster.
All right, thank you.
This has been The Gauge, hosted by me, Chance Conrado, produced and edited by our guy Ty Yeager. Shout out to the executive producers Dustin Pointer and Cody Denton. Marketing and content produced by Riley Chone. Make sure to rate and review this podcast, as well as follow The Gauge on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And make sure to subscribe to The Gauge wherever you get your podcasts. We'll see you guys next time.